There is a line that divides the human race. It is not drawn by geography. It is not drawn by race. It is not even drawn by the size of your bank account today. It is an invisible line drawn through the landscape of the human mind. On one side exists the vast majority of humanity living in what Napoleon Hill called poverty consciousness. On the other side, a select few who dwell in riches consciousness. Today, we are not discussing investment strategies. We are not discussing real estate or the stock market. Those are merely the effects. We are here to discuss the cause. Hill taught us nearly a century ago that the starting point of all achievement is a state of mind. He famously said, "Truly, thoughts are things, and powerful things at that, when they are mixed with definiteness of purpose, persistence, and a burning desire for their translation into riches or other material objects." Most people read that sentence and nod, but very few understand the terrifying implications of it. If thoughts are things, then a thought of scarcity is just as powerful as a thought of abundance. The ether, that vast, invisible medium that connects all minds to infinite intelligence, does not discriminate. It is a photocopying machine. If you feed it worry, it will print poverty. If you feed it faith, it will print prosperity. The difference between the rich man and the poor man is not what they have in their pockets, but what they carry in their minds. The poor mind is a sieve. It lets opportunity slip through while trapping fear, doubt, and criticism. The rich mind is a magnet. It repels the negative and attracts the resources needed for its definite purpose. For the next hour, we are going to hold a mirror up to your current operating system. This will be uncomfortable. You will recognize behaviors in yourself that you have defended for years. But you must understand, you cannot escape a prison until you admit you are in one. The bars of the poverty mindset are forged by your own habitual thinking. Today, we begin to file them down. Let us dissect the poor mindset. When I use the word poor, I am referring to a spiritual and mental condition, which inevitably leads to a financial one. The cornerstone of the poor mindset is fear. Napoleon Hill identified the 6 basic fears, with the fear of poverty and the fear of criticism sitting at the top. The poor mindset operates defensively. It plays not to lose, rather than playing to win. When faced with an opportunity, the first question the poor mind asks is, "What if I lose my money?" Or, "What will people think if I fail?" This fear leads to what Hill described in his later work as drifting. A drifter is a person who accepts whatever life hands them without protest. They have no definite plan. They wait for something to turn up. They date the wrong people because they are available. They take the wrong job because it was offered. They drift through life like a piece of wood in the ocean, tossed by the waves of circumstance. The poor mindset believes in luck. They buy lottery tickets, hoping for a deus ex machina to save them from their own lack of initiative. They believe that wealthy people simply got a break. Hill said, "Riches do not respond to wishes. They respond only to definite plans, backed by definite desires, through constant persistence." The poor mind wishes. It wishes for better health. It wishes for more money. But a wish has no power. A wish is a lukewarm desire with no action behind it. If you find yourself saying things like, "I can't afford it," money is the root of all evil. Rich people are greedy. "I'm just waiting for the right time." Then you are infected with poverty consciousness. These statements are self-fulfilling prophecies. They are commands you are giving to your subconscious mind to keep you exactly where you are. The poor mind is constantly arguing for its own limitations. Now let us cross the divide. What is the rich mindset? If the poor mind is defined by fear and drifting, the rich mind is defined by faith and definiteness of purpose. A person with a riches consciousness does not wish for wealth. They have what Hill called a burning desire. It is an obsession. It is a state of mind where failure is not even considered as a final option, merely a temporary setback. The rich mind understands that money is just an idea. It is a medium of exchange for value created. Therefore, to become rich, one must become valuable. The poor mind wants to get paid before they do the work. The rich mind works until they are paid, often going the extra mile long before the compensation arrives. The rich mindset operates on the frequency of abundance. They look at the world and see endless opportunity. They know that there is no shortage of money, only a shortage of ideas. When faced with an obstacle, the rich mind does not ask, "Can I do this?" It asks, "How can this be done?" The shift from t to how is monumental. It engages the creative imagination. Furthermore, the rich mind takes full responsibility. They are the captains of their souls. If they are broke, they admit it is because of their own decisions. This sounds harsh, but it is incredibly liberating. Because if you are the cause of your failure, you can become the cause of your success. The poor mind blames the economy, the politicians, their boss, or their upbringing. As long as you blame others, you are giving them power over your life. The rich mind reclaims that power. You now understand the two states of mind. You are likely standing in the middle, feeling the pull of both. How do you permanently cross the line into riches consciousness? You cannot simply will yourself to be rich. Willpower is temporary. You must rewrite the programming of your subconscious mind. Hill provided us with the ultimate tool for this: autosuggestion. Your subconscious mind is a fertile garden. For years, the weeds of poverty consciousness, planted by negative news, skeptical friends, and past failures, have been allowed to grow unchecked. Autosuggestion is the act of deliberately planting new seeds. You must tell your subconscious mind what to believe until it accepts it as fact. Hill's famous instruction in Think and Grow Rich was to write out a definite chief aim, a specific amount of money you desire, a date by which you will have it, and exactly what you intend to give in return for it. But here is the key that most miss. It is not enough to just read the words. You must emotionalize them. The subconscious mind only responds to thoughts mixed with emotion, or what Hill called faith. When you say, "I am wealthy," while feeling poor, your subconscious rejects it as a lie. You must summon the feeling of having the wealth before the wealth appears. You must act as if, feel as if, and think as if the goal is already accomplished. This is the hardest work in the world. It requires what Hill called applied faith. It means taking action when you are terrified. It means spending money on your education when your bank account is low, trusting it is an investment. It means severing ties with negative people who anchor you to poverty. Your assignment for the next 24 hours is to monitor your thoughts like a sentinel at the gate. Every time a thought of scarcity tries to enter, every time you think, "I can't," stop it immediately. Replace it instantly with a thought of abundance. You are trying to turn a battleship around at sea. It will not happen instantly. There will be resistance. But the moment you decide that poverty consciousness is no longer acceptable in your life, the ship begins to turn. You have begun the work of clearing the weeds of poverty from your own mind. But a garden does not grow in a vacuum. It grows in an environment. This brings us to one of the starkest differences between the rich and the poor: how they view other people. The poor mindset views others with suspicion, envy, or indifference. Most dangerously, the poor mind operates in isolation. The person stuck in poverty consciousness often thinks, "I must do this all myself." They are afraid to ask for help because they fear looking weak, or they fear someone will steal their ideas. They are the rugged individualist who ends up ruggedly broke. The rich mindset understands a fundamental law of physics: no mind is complete by itself. Napoleon Hill introduced the world to the mastermind principle. He defined it as coordination of knowledge and effort in a spirit of harmony between two or more people for the attainment of a definite purpose. The rich mind knows that 1 + 1 does not equal 2. In the mastermind, 1 + 1 = 11. Henry Ford was not the smartest mechanic. Andrew Carnegie knew very little about the technical chemistry of steel. But they were wealthy because they surrounded themselves with men who did know these things. The poor mind is intimidated by people who are smarter than them. They hire cheap labor to save money. They associate with people who validate their excuses. The rich mind is energized by people who are smarter than them. They hire the best, even if it costs more, because they know the return on investment is infinite. They associate with people who challenge their limitations. Ask yourself, who is at your table? If you are the smartest person in your mastermind group, you are in the wrong group. You are capping your own growth. To cross the divide, you must stop trying to be the lone wolf. You must become the conductor of the orchestra. Let us destroy a myth that keeps millions in poverty. Knowledge is power. This is false. Napoleon Hill corrected this decades ago. Knowledge is only potential power. It becomes power only when, and if, it is organized into definite plans of action and directed to a definite end. The poor mindset confuses schooling with education. They believe that degrees, certificates, and memorizing facts entitle them to wealth. They stop learning the day they leave school. They say, "I have done my time." The rich mindset understands that school is merely the warm-up. They are obsessed with specialized knowledge. They do not try to know everything about everything. They try to know everything about the one thing that brings value to the world. And here is the secret the wealthy know. You do not even need to possess the specialized knowledge yourself. You just need to know where to find it. When Henry Ford was sued by a newspaper for being ignorant, he famously said he had a row of electric push buttons on his desk. If he needed to know a fact about history or math, he could push a button and summon a man who knew it. Why should he clutter his brain with general facts when he had men to handle that? The poor mind prides itself on being a jack of all trades, master of none. The rich mind specializes. They become the best in the world at one specific problem, and the world beats a path to their door to pay them for it. If you want to be wealthy, stop gathering trivia. Start gathering solutions. We move now from the head to the hands. You have the desire. You have the people. You have the knowledge. But the poor mind stops here. The poor mind loves the idea of success but hates the mechanics of it. This introduces the principle of organized planning. The poor mindset relies on hope. I hope business picks up. I hope I get a raise. The rich mindset relies on a blueprint. Hill studied the most successful men in America, and he found that every single one of them had a plan. And not just a vague plan, a flexible, written, evolving plan. When a person with a rich mindset fails, they do not abandon the goal. They abandon the plan. They burn the blueprint and draw a new one. The person with the poor mindset fails once, and they abandon the goal. They say, I guess it wasn't meant to be. This is the critical distinction, quitting versus pivoting. If you are driving home and the road is blocked, you do not turn around and sleep in your office. You find another route. Why do you treat your life differently? Riches are the result of demands you make upon life. You must have a plan to deliver value. If you cannot describe your plan for wealth in 2 clear sentences, you do not have a plan. You have a fantasy. Finally, in this hour, we enter the workshop, the imagination. Hill taught that there are 2 forms of imagination, synthetic and creative. Synthetic imagination is arranging old concepts into new combinations. This is where most business happens. You take an existing product and make it faster, cheaper, or better. Creative imagination is where the mind connects directly with infinite intelligence to receive new ideas, hunches, inspirations. The poor mindset believes that imagination is for children or artists. They say, I need to be realistic. The rich mindset knows that ideas are the most valuable commodity on earth. Coca-Cola began as an idea. Google began as an idea. The light bulb began as an idea. The poor mind looks at a pile of scrap metal and sees trash. The rich mind looks at the same pile, applies imagination, and sees raw materials for a new machine. Here is the truth. Money is not made of paper. Money is made of ideas. If you are broke, it is not because the economy is bad. It is because you have stopped using your imagination to solve problems for others. You are waiting for someone to give you a job, instead of imagining a way to create service. For the next hour of your life, I want you to practice the what-if game. Look at your industry. Ask, what if we did this differently? What if we combined this with that? Wake up your sleeping imagination. It is the muscle that pumps money into your bank account. We have now laid the foundation. You have the mindset. You have the mastermind. You have the plan. In the next hour, we will discuss the engine that drives it all, persistence and the transmutation of energy. The architecture is built. Now, we must light the furnace. Let's now focus on the engine of wealth, the internal drive, the refusal to quit, and the controversial source of human energy that Napoleon Hill identified as the secret of all geniuses. We have the mindset. We have the plan. Why then do so many still fail? Napoleon Hill analyzed the lives of 25,000 men and women who had experienced failure. He found 31 major causes of failure. Do you know what stood at the top of the list? Lack of decision. Procrastination is the silent killer of the poor mindset. The poor mind is addicted to tomorrow. I will start the diet tomorrow. I will write the book tomorrow. I will call the client tomorrow. But as Hill reminded us, there is no such thing as tomorrow. There is only an eternal now. The rich mindset operates with a terrifying speed of implementation. Hill studied men like Henry Ford and Andrew Carnegie and found a common trait. They reached decisions quickly, and they changed them slowly, if at all. The poor mind reaches decisions very slowly, and changes them very quickly and frequently. Listen closely. The poor mind waits for perfect conditions. They want all the lights to be green before they leave the driveway. The rich mind knows that if you wait for certainty, you will wait until your funeral. They decide. If the decision is wrong, they correct it. But they are moving. Indecision is actually a decision. It is the decision to fail. It is the decision to drift. If you are thinking about it for 6 months, you are not thinking, you are hiding. To cross the divide into riches consciousness, you must become a person of immediate action. When the idea strikes, move. The universe loves speed. Money loves speed. Stop getting ready to get ready. Once you make a decision, the universe will test you. This is a law. The moment you set a bold goal, chaos will often ensue. This brings us to the sustained effort, persistence. The poor mindset has a glass jaw. The moment they encounter resistance, a rejected application, a lost sale, a bad review, they fold. They say, "It wasn't meant to be." They carry a wishbone where their backbone should be. The rich mindset understands that failure is a trickster with a keen sense of irony and cunning. It takes great delight in tripping one when success is almost within reach. We all know the story of the man who stopped 3 feet from gold. The poor mind stops digging because they cannot see the gold. The rich mind keeps digging because they know the gold is there. Hill taught that persistence is to the character of man what carbon is to steel. Without it, you are brittle. You break under pressure. With it, the pressure only hardens you. There is a force Hill called the hidden guide. When you are persisting through the valley of the shadow, when you are tired, when you have no money, and you keep going anyway, the hidden guide steps in. This is where the law of increasing returns kicks in. The poor mind works for an hour and wants an hour's pay immediately. The rich mind works for 5 years with no pay, knowing that in the 6th year, they will be paid for every hour of the previous 5, plus interest. This is the compound interest of effort. Are you willing to work in the dark so you can live in the light? We arrive now at the most misunderstood and powerful chapter in Hill's philosophy, the mystery of sex transmutation. Do not let the word distract you. We are talking about energy. The poor mindset dissipates energy. The rich mindset concentrates and transmutes energy. The desire for sexual expression is the most powerful of all human desires. It drives men and women to risk their lives, their reputations, and their fortunes. Hill observed that most men do not achieve great success until after the age of 40 or 50. Because in their youth, they waste this high-octane energy in physical pursuit and indulgence. They blow the steam out of the whistle, rather than using it to turn the wheels of the engine. The genius, the artist, the titan, the leader, is the one who has learned to switch the track. When you feel that intense drive, that restlessness, that desire, that is raw creative fuel. The poor mind seeks to release that tension immediately through distraction or physical gratification. The rich mind holds that tension and redirects it into their definite chief aim. They sit at their desk, buzzing with energy, and they pour it into the sales call. They pour it into the invention. This gives their work a magnetism that others can feel. It makes their personality vibrant. It makes their voice compelling. This is the secret source of charisma. If you want to be wealthy, stop leaking your energy. Harness it. Transmute it. Turn the biological drive into a financial empire. As we close the 3rd hour, we must look at the mechanism that processes all of this, the subconscious mind. Hill called it the connecting link between the finite mind of man and infinite intelligence. The poor mindset leaves the door to the subconscious wide open. They fall asleep watching the news, filling their minds with murder, theft, and economic collapse. They listen to sad songs. They gossip. They are feeding poison to the very machine that creates their reality. And then they wonder why their life is toxic. The rich mindset stands guard at the door. They understand that the subconscious works day and night. It never sleeps. If you do not give it a plan, it will work on the chaotic thoughts you picked up during the day. You must treat your subconscious like a sensitive child. You cannot joke with it. You cannot be sarcastic with it. If you say, "I'm killing myself to get this job done," your subconscious hears a death wish. If you say, "I never have enough money," your subconscious says, "Understood. I will ensure you never have enough." To cross the divide, you must begin the practice of nightly instruction. Before you drift off to sleep, that twilight moment when the conscious mind drops its guard, you must give your subconscious its orders for the night. I am wealthy. I am healthy. I am solving this problem. Do not go to sleep with a worry. Go to sleep with a command. Let the subconscious work on your wealth while you rest. We have now fired the engine. You are decisive. You are persistent. You are fueled. In the next hour, we will discuss the enemies that will try to stop you, the ghosts of fear and the susceptibility to negative influences. The walls are going up. The fortress is being built. The focus on defense and immunity. We have built the engine and the map. Now we must discuss the enemies that lie in wait. The poor mindset is easily infiltrated by fear and the opinions of others. The rich mindset is a fortress that filters everything seeking entry. This segment draws heavily from Hill's The 6 Ghosts of Fear and How to Own Your Own Mind. You have the plan. You have the desire. But why are you still hesitating? Why do you stop when you should go? Why do you silence your voice when you should speak? It is because you are haunted. Napoleon Hill identified the 6 ghosts of fear that stand between a man and his destiny. The poor mindset is a house where these ghosts live rent-free. The rich mindset is a fortress that has exorcised them. The 2 most destructive ghosts are the fear of poverty and the fear of criticism. The poor mindset is paralyzed by the fear of poverty. This fear paralyzes the faculty of reason. It destroys the imagination. It kills self-reliance. It manifests as a hesitation to invest in oneself. You hold on to the penny so tightly that you cannot grab the dollar. You stay in the job you hate because, at least it's safe. The rich mindset looks poverty in the face and says, "You have no power over me. If I lose everything today, I have the knowledge to rebuild it tomorrow." Wealth is not the money in the bank. Wealth is the ability to create money. Once you know you can create it, the fear vanishes. Then there is the fear of criticism. How many brilliant ideas have died because someone was afraid their brother-in-law would laugh at them? The poor mindset craves approval. It values the opinion of the herd above its own soul. The rich mindset understands a brutal truth. If you do anything of significance, you will be criticized. In fact, the rich mind views criticism as a KPI, key performance indicator. If no one is criticizing you, you are not moving fast enough. You are indistinguishable from the background. Do not let the ghost of "what will they say" rob you of "what I will do." Beyond the 6 ghosts, Hill warned of a 7th basic evil. It is the most dangerous because it is invisible. He called it susceptibility to negative influences. The poor mindset is a sponge. It absorbs the environment. If the economy is down, they are down. If their friends are complaining, they complain. They leave the windows of their mind wide open. They listen to the news for hours, absorbing murder, corruption, and disaster, and then wonder why they lack the confidence to start a business. The rich mindset operates with strict mental hygiene. They understand that the mind is a broadcasting station. If you let static in, you cannot broadcast a clear signal of success. The rich mind closes the gates. They have the courage to walk away from a conversation the moment it turns to gossip or self-pity. They have the discipline to turn off the television. They curate their social media feeds ruthlessly. Hill said, "You have absolute control over but one thing, and that is your thoughts. If you allow your neighbor, the news anchor, or a pessimistic family member to dictate your mood, you have abdicated your throne. To cross the divide, you must become a snob about what you allow into your brain. If it does not align with your definite chief aim, it stays outside the gate. How do you filter the information that tries to get in? You use the principle of accurate thinking. The poor mindset runs on opinions. Hill observed that opinions are the cheapest commodities on earth. Everyone has a flock of them ready to be wished upon anyone who will accept them. The poor mind makes life-altering financial decisions based on the opinion of a neighbor who is broke. They say, "I heard real estate is risky." Who told you that? Was it a real estate tycoon? Or was it someone who has never owned property? The rich mindset runs on facts. The accurate thinker separates facts from mere information. And then, they separate important facts from unimportant facts. They do not ask, "Is this risky?" That is an opinion. They ask, "What is the data? What is the track record? What is the downside?" The accurate thinker is cold in their analysis and hot in their execution. The drifter is hot in their emotions and absent in their analysis. If you want to be wealthy, you must stop accepting hearsay as truth. Do not believe what you hear. Do not believe what you fear. Look at the numbers. Look at the precedents. Be a scientist of your own success. We close this hour by addressing the inevitable, failure. No matter how accurate your thinking, you will stumble. The poor mindset views failure as a verdict. I failed, therefore I am a failure. They personalize it. They permanenteize it. They carry their failures around like a bag of rocks, using them as evidence for why they shouldn't try again. The rich mindset views failure as data. But more than that, they believe in Hill's golden rule. Every adversity, every failure, every heartache carries with it the seed of an equal or greater benefit. Note the word seed. The benefit is not always obvious. You have to cultivate it. Maybe the business failed so you would meet the partner for the next, bigger business. Maybe you were fired so you would finally be forced to start your own company. The rich mind searches the wreckage of failure looking for that seed. And they always find it. When the poor mind hits a wall, they say, "Why me?" When the rich mind hits a wall, they say, "What is the lesson? What is the asset hiding in this disaster?" This is the ultimate immunity. If you believe that everything, even the bad things, serves your purpose, then you cannot be defeated. You can only be educated. We have now fortified the mind. You are immune to criticism. You are deaf to negative influence. You are an accurate thinker. In the final hour, we will ascend to the highest level of Hill's teachings, cosmic habit force and the power of the extra mile. The transformation is almost complete. This fifth and final hour brings the series to its summit. We move beyond the individual effort and into the universal laws that guarantee the result. This segment focuses on permanence, service, and the inevitable law of compensation. This is where the heavy lifting of the previous hours becomes the effortless flow of the master. We have arrived at the final frontier. You have changed your thoughts. You have built your plan. You have fortified your mind. But the poor mindset asks, will it stick? Will I slide back? Napoleon Hill discovered a universal law he called cosmic habit force. In his earlier writings, he referred to it as hypnotic rhythm. It is the tendency of nature to make every habit permanent. Whatever you do repeatedly, the universe eventually locks into place. The poor mindset is a victim of cosmic habit force. They have worried for so long, complained for so long, and drifted for so long, that nature has cemented them into that reality. It takes tremendous energy to break free because the rhythm is set against them. They are swimming upstream against their own history. The rich mindset understands that this law works both ways. When you persist in the new habits, thinking accurately, acting with purpose, controlling your fear, cosmic habit force eventually takes over. Suddenly, it becomes harder to fail than to succeed. Suddenly, it becomes unnatural to worry. You are no longer swimming upstream. The current has reversed, and it is carrying you toward your goal. The struggle you feel right now is simply the friction of changing gears. Do not stop pushing. You are close to the tipping point where the momentum of the universe gets behind you. Once cosmic habit force locks in your new identity, success becomes automatic. Now, let us discuss the specific behavior that triggers this abundance. If you forget everything else, remember this principle. It is the one that separates the wage earner from the fortune builder. The habit of going the extra mile. The poor mindset is transactional. It watches the clock. It says, I am not paid to do that. That's not my job. I'll do just enough so I don't get fired. This attitude violates the law of economics. If you only do what you are paid for, you will never be paid for more than you do. You are stagnant. The rich mindset operates on the QQS formula: quality of service, quantity of service, spirit of service. The rich mind renders more service and better service than they are paid to render, and they do it with a positive mental attitude. Are they foolish? They are banking credits with the universe. They know that by rendering a surplus of service, they place the law of compensation in their debt. When you go the extra mile, you make yourself indispensable. You stand out. You command attention. You are not doing it for the boss. You are doing it for your future. The person who does more than they are paid for will eventually be paid for more than they do. Look at your work today. Are you doing the bare minimum? Or are you over-delivering? The gap between those two is the gap between poverty and wealth. We must address the moral fabric of wealth. There is a dangerous delusion in the poor mindset, the idea that one can get something for nothing. They look for the shortcut, the gamble, the scheme. They want the harvest without the planting. The rich mindset respects the law of compensation. This law, championed by Ralph Waldo Emerson and central to Hill's philosophy, states that for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. You cannot cheat the soil. If you plant corn, you get corn. If you plant nothing, you get weeds. The rich mindset knows that true wealth is a result of value creation. Money is simply the echo of value. If you want a louder echo, more money, you must shout a louder sound, more value. The poor mind tries to manipulate the echo without changing the sound. They want the money without the service. This leads to frustration and inevitable failure. Stop looking for the shortcut. Fall in love with the process of sowing. If you are currently underpaid, do not despair. If you are delivering value, the compensation must come. It may not come from the person you served, but it will come. The law handles the logistics. Trust the ledger. We have reached the end of our journey. 5 hours ago, we stood at the line of the Great Divide. We looked at the poor mindset, governed by fear, drifting, isolation, and scarcity. We looked at the rich mindset, governed by faith, purpose, the mastermind, and abundance. You now possess the keys. You know that thoughts are things. You have a definite chief aim. You have formed a mastermind alliance. You are immune to the ghosts of fear. You are committed to going the extra mile. Now, the final step is not a technique. It is an identity shift. You must stop trying to be rich. You must be rich in your mind right now. Wealth is not a number in a bank account. That number is just the scorecard. Wealth is the conviction that you are the master of your fate. When you turn off this audio, do not go back to your old life. That life is dead. Walk out the door as a different person. Walk with the posture of a person who owns the ground they stand on. Speak with the clarity of a person who knows where they are going. Treat others with the generosity of a person who has more than enough. The world will notice the shift. Opportunities will align. The coincidence will begin. You have aligned yourself with the laws of the universe. The resistance is over. The flow has begun. Napoleon Hill left us with this final promise. Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. You have conceived it. You now believe it. Go forth and achieve it. The work is done. The harvest awaits. We move beyond the acquisition of money and into the mastery of environment and time. While the previous episodes focused on internal programming and habit formation, this segment contrasts how the rich mindset and poor mindset handle their two most finite resources, time and influence. Welcome to the advanced session. We have spent 5 hours discussing how to acquire money. But there is a commodity far more valuable than gold, and how you treat it determines which side of the line you truly stand on. That commodity is time. The poor mindset values money over time. They will spend hours driving across town to save $10 on a purchase. They will stand in line for free giveaways. They trade their life energy for pennies. To the poor mind, time is something to be killed or filled with entertainment. The rich mindset values time over money. They understand that money is a renewable resource. You can always make more. Time is non-renewable. Once this second is gone, it is gone forever. The rich mindset is an investor of time, not a spender of time. Every hour must yield a return. That return doesn't always have to be financial. It could be health, relationship, or rest, but it must be intentional. Napoleon Hill in Outwitting the Devil spoke of time as the great sorter. Time allows the drifter to cement their failure, and it allows the non-drifter to compound their success. If you want to cross the divide, you must become ruthless with your calendar. The poor mind allows anyone to steal their time. Phone calls, interruptions, gossip. The rich mind guards their time like a vault. Stop saying, "I don't have time." You have the same amount of time as Henry Ford and Thomas Edison. The difference is not the hours you have, it is the value you place upon them. Let us move to the mechanism of influence. You can be a genius, but if people do not like you, your path to riches will be filled with friction. Hill identified the pleasing personality as a major asset of the wealthy. The poor mindset often wears a badge of brutal honesty. They say, "I just tell it like it is." They are abrasive, argumentative, or constantly complaining. They repel help. They believe that being real means being rude. The poor mind thinks, "People should accept me as I am." The rich mindset understands social diplomacy. This is not about being fake, It is about being effective. The rich mind makes others feel important. They listen more than they speak. They avoid petty arguments because they know arguments never change minds. They only harden hearts. Hill taught that you can catch more flies with honey than with vinegar. Wealth flows through people. If you are a leader, are you leading through fear, poor mindset, or cooperation, rich mindset? If you are in sales, are you pushing, poor mindset, or attracting, rich mindset? Audit your personality today. Do you smile? Do you remember names? Do you look for the good in others? A pleasing personality is the oil that prevents friction in the machinery of success. Without it, the gears grind to a halt. There comes a moment in the journey of every wealthy individual where they must switch roles. Napoleon Hill stated clearly, there are two types of people in the world: leaders and followers. It is no disgrace to be a follower, but it is no credit to remain one. The poor mindset finds comfort in followership. They want to be told what to do. They want the safety of the paycheck without the burden of the strategy. They avoid responsibility. The rich mindset seeks responsibility. They know that the person who holds the responsibility holds the keys to the treasury. How do you make the shift? You start by becoming an intelligent follower. The poor mind follows blindly. The rich mind follows with the intention of learning the leader's job so they can eventually take it. They study the leader. They anticipate problems. They act as a lieutenant, not a servant. You must stop waiting for someone to appoint you as a leader. Leadership is taken, not given. You take it by solving a problem no one else wants to touch. You take it by organizing a group of people to achieve a goal. The world is desperate for leadership. It will make way for anyone who knows where they are going. Stop asking for permission to lead. Step to the front of the line. We arrive now at the 13th principle, the apex of the pyramid, the sixth sense. The poor mindset operates entirely on the 5 physical senses. If they can't touch it, see it, or hear it, they don't believe it. They rely solely on logic, and logic is often based on past limitations. They are trapped in the visible world. The rich mindset respects logic, but they worship intuition. They know that the human brain is not just a computer, it is a receiver. Have you ever had a hunch to avoid a bad deal? Or a sudden flash of inspiration for a new idea? That is the sixth sense. It is infinite intelligence knocking on your door. The poor mind ignores the knock. They say, "That's silly," or "I have no proof." The rich mind acts on the hunch. Great wealth is rarely created by logic alone. Logic keeps you safe. Intuition makes you rich. Logic says, the market is crowded. Intuition says, there is a gap right here. How do you develop this? By trusting it. The next time you get a strong feeling, a gut check, pause. Listen to it. Act on it in a small way. The more you trust the sixth sense, the louder it speaks. Eventually, you will be guided by a wisdom that exceeds your education. You will be walking with the invisible counselors that Hill spoke of. You have moved from the mechanics of belief to the architecture of wealth, and finally, to the sovereignty of leadership. The divide is behind you. The bridge has been crossed. Do not look back. The rich mindset is no longer something you do. It is who you are. Welcome to your new reality.